It's 4:43 a.m., the blue hour. Outside, the world hasn't decided whether it's still night or already morning. Just this soft, bruised light, like the sky's holding its breath. I'm sitting here with a cup of coffee gone cold hours ago. No steam, no warmth, just the ceramic weight in my palms and the kind of silence so deep you can hear your own pulse in your ears. You know that silence? The one where even the fridge stops humming, just to watch. I was thinking about her again. My friend Zara, she got that job, the one she barely applied for. Said she just let it go after sending the email. Didn't refresh her inbox every 10 minutes. Didn't lie awake scripting interview answers in her head. Nothing. And yet, it came. Effortlessly. Like it was always meant to find her. Meanwhile, I've been staring at my own pot, willing it to boil, checking bank balances, refreshing analytics, rereading old messages for hidden signs, waiting for something to shift, but nothing does. It's like, the more I look, the more everything freezes. Actually, that's it, isn't it? There's this old saying, a watched pot never boils. Most people think it's about patience, but maybe it's literal. Not in the kitchen, but in life. In the way we hold our dreams so tightly they can't breathe. Now, before you roll your eyes, yes, I know. Mainstream physics doesn't say your thoughts bend reality like tinfoil. Scientists agree quantum mechanics works astonishingly well, as math, but there's a striking lack of consensus about what it actually says about reality, the observer effect. Real in labs, when detectors interact with particles, sure. But no, your anxiety over rent won't collapse a wave function into a fat paycheck. That's not how any of this works. But what if we use it as a metaphor, just a lens? A story we tell ourselves to make sense of why some things unfold only when we stop clutching them. Because honestly, when was the last time something beautiful happened while you were watching for it? I mean, really watching, obsessing, measuring every micro shift. That's not attention. That's pressure. And under pressure, potential collapses. Not into what you want, but into what you fear, stagnation. You ever notice how ideas come in the shower or while washing dishes? When your mind's idle, drifting, that's when the magic slips in, unannounced, uninvited. Because you weren't waiting, you were just living. This cold coffee in my hands. It stopped steaming the moment I started staring at it. Maybe life's like that. Maybe the very act of demanding proof, of needing to see the change, locks it in place. Like Schrodinger's cat, but the box is your timeline, and you keep opening it to check if hope's still alive. And every time you peek, you kill the possibility. Sounds dramatic, I know. But sit with me in this blue silence for a second. Listen. There's no clock ticking, no phone buzzing, just you and the hum of your own becoming. And in that space, without the weight of expectation, maybe that's where reality finally gets room to move. Zara didn't manifest that job by visualizing it hourly. She watered her garden, trusted the seasons, and forgot to watch the pot. Maybe that's the real secret. Not belief, but release. I took a sip. Cold coffee. Bitter. Like regret you forgot to swallow. Funny how the body remembers what the mind tries to ignore. My throat tightened. Not from the taste, but from the hours I've spent here, circling the same thought like a vulture, over dry land, waiting, watching, needing something to move. But here's what I'm starting to see. Obsession isn't devotion. It's lack dressed up as focus. When you stare at that pot, you're not hoping for steam. You're confirming its absence. Again and again. Not yet, still not. That whisper, that's not patience. That's resistance wearing a saint's robe, and the mind, it splits. One part dreams of arrival, the job, the love, the peace. The other part? The watcher, the checker, the one who refreshes, rereads, replays. This split mind is where manifestation goes to die. Because while one half reaches forward, the other drags it back with evidence. Look, nothing's changed. You know what reality mirrors? Not your wish list, not your vision board. It mirrors who you are being in the moment you look. If you're being the waiter, tense, anxious, scanning the horizon for proof, then what do you get? More waiting. A perfect echo. The universe doesn't respond to desire. It responds to state. And your state right now is not there yet. Over and over. It's like standing in front of a mirror and asking, "Why don't I look happy?" while frowning. The mirror isn't broken, it's honest. Outside, the blue is thinning. First light, pale gold, just kissed the edge of my window. Sharp, cold, real, and then a sound, a single bird, then another. Far off, a car engine coughs. To life. The world is waking up, while I've been frozen in this loop of checking. I stood up, bare feet on tile, ice cold. The shock pulled me out of my head and into my body, into now, not tomorrow, not when it finally happens. Now, that's the thing about cold floor tiles. They don't care about your timeline. They just are, solid, present, unmoved by your desperation. Maybe that's the architecture of resistance. We build it brick by brick with every glance backward, every mental tally of what's missing. We think we're tracking progress, but we're actually reinforcing absence. In Urdu, there's a word, intizar, waiting. But intizar carries weight. It's not neutral. It's heavy with longing, with suspension. And when you live in intizar, you become the space between, never the arrival. But release? Release isn't giving up. It's stepping out of the way. It's letting the pot sit on, the stove without your breath fogging the lid. It's trusting that heat exists, even when you can't see the bubbles. Because here's the quiet truth. Boiling doesn't happen while you watch. It happens in the silence between your glances. In the moments you're busy living, washing dishes, walking barefoot, sipping cold coffee without flinching. The dawn isn't announcing itself with fanfare, it's just arriving, quietly, as if it never doubted it would. And maybe that's the lesson. Don't be the watcher, be the morning. Sunlight now, hard, flat, no mystery left in it. The blue hour's poetry has evaporated, replaced by the ordinary glare of 6:17 a.m. I opened the curtains just like that, and suddenly, everything feels accountable. No more shadows to hide in. Just my laptop screen blinking with unread emails, calendar alerts, the brutal arithmetic of deadlines, and right on cue. The skeptic in me speaks up. Come on, are you really saying if you just stop checking your bank balance, money appears? That's not spirituality, that's denial. Fair. Honestly, I've asked myself the same thing 100 times. Isn't this just magical thinking wrapped in quantum-sounding words? Doesn't real life run on effort, discipline, showing up even when you don't feel like it? Yes, absolutely. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a witness to my own patterns. And what I've noticed isn't magic. It's mechanics. Psychological mechanics. Turns out there's a name for it. The Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. Or selective attention. When you buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. Not because they appeared, but because your brain finally notices them. Same with opportunities. When you're not obsessively scanning for lack, your mind relaxes enough to spot what was already there. Mainstream physics doesn't say your thoughts collapse wave functions into rent money. But psychology does say chronic stress narrows your perception. It literally shrinks your field of vision, mental and physical. You miss signals, overlook connections, misread kindness as pity. So whether you call it quantum potential or cognitive bandwidth, the result is identical. Stress closes doors. Calm opens them. Not because the universe rewards detachment, but because your nervous system stops screaming long enough to hear an opportunity knock. A neighbor's door just slammed shut down the hall. Sharp, final, like a period at the end of a sentence, and on my screen, a sunbeam caught a floating dust particle. Just one, glowing gold for half a second before vanishing. That's how subtle the shift is. Not lightning, not miracles, just noticing. In Hindi, we say, Jo dikhta hai, wohi hota hai. What you see becomes your reality, not because it's objectively true, but because your actions follow your focus. If you only see lack, you act from lack. You negotiate from lack. You create from lack. But if you, just for a moment, stop watching the pot, you might glance up and realize the stove was never off. The water was always heating. You were just too busy counting seconds to feel the warmth. This isn't about abandoning effort. It's about aligning effort with presence, not panic. Hard work matters deeply. But frantic work? That's just fear in a productivity costume. And fear distorts. It makes you grab at things that aren't yours, miss what is, and exhaust yourself chasing echoes. So maybe the middle path isn't between science and spirituality. It's between striving and stillness. Between doing and allowing the doing. To breathe. Because today, the ordinary sunlit, deadline-filled day is still full of quiet openings. If you're not too busy watching for closed doors. The sun's fully up now. No more blue. No more shadows. Just clear, unfiltered light pouring through the window, washing over the desk, the chair, the cold coffee mug I finally set down. I don't need it anymore. The ritual of waiting is over. I stood up. Not with a grand gesture, just a quiet rising, like the morning itself. And in that motion, something shifted inside. Not because I got what I wanted, but because I stopped needing proof that I would. Here's what I've come to understand. Manifestation isn't about pulling things toward you. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to check if they're coming. It's not attraction, it's alignment. When you stop refreshing the screen of your life, your inbox, your bank app, your past relationships, you create space, not empty space, sacred space. In Urdu, we call it Kali Jaga, but it's never truly empty. That void, that silence, that's where everything is prepared, where seeds split open in darkness long before green touches air. Science won't call it quantum. Psychology might call it cognitive reset. But my bones know it as sukoon, deep peace. And my heart knows it as tawakkul, trust not as passive hope, but as active surrender to the rhythm of things unfolding in their own time. Because here's the paradox. The moment you stop watching for change, you become it. You don't manifest a new life by staring at the old one and demanding it shift. You step into the version of yourself who already lives there, and act from that place, not someday, now. Even if your hands are still shaking, even if your coffee's cold, outside the city breathes, cars hum, a street vendor calls out. Somewhere, a child laughs. I stepped onto the balcony, barefoot still, and felt the rough concrete under my soles, real, present, alive. This is it. Not the vision, not the arrival. This ordinary, sunlit, messy now, and in this moment, I'm not waiting. I'm walking. So I'll ask you, not as a guru, not as a guide, just as someone who's been sitting in the blue hour too long. What is the one thing you're ready to stop watching today? Your phone? Your past? Your fears dressed as plans? Leave the pot on the stove. Walk away. Let the water do its work. Because boiling doesn't happen in the glare of your gaze. It happens in the quiet, in the trust, in the space between your breaths. Go find your silence. Then walk into the morning without looking back.